Hello and welcome to Cornish Walking Trails. Today we're here at Portloe. We start our walk in Veryan, park near the church, and we follow footpaths through fields and down country lanes to here, Portloe. After an exploration, we're going to pick up the coastal path and head back to Veryan to explore the village and find out about the roundhouses. Veryan is on the Roseland Peninsula near Truro. Our walk today is taken from Rambles in the Roseland. It's walk number 3, Veryan, Trewartha, Sunny Corner, Portloe and Camels. 4 miles in 2 hours. Very quick look at the map. So we park here in Veryan near the church. We'll go across fields and then pick up a little footpath, a lane down towards Portloe, have a little look at the harbour and then come back along the southwest coast path towards Broom Parc and coming home through country lanes.
So there's no car park as such here for our walk today around Veryan, but there is a small little area for parking by the church, and they do suggest that you just find a spot within the village on the road.
Next to the church is this wonderful pond. Interestingly, Veryan Parish Council has a notice board here, and it does say of the pond, local tradition suggests that it was part of the mill from the doomsday manor of Ellerkey.
It goes on to say that it was described as the old swan pool.
Oh, okay.
It was laid out with shrubs and flowers and 3 arched wooden bridges.
Which are lovely, aren't they?
Yeah, really nice.
It really does look nice.
Yeah.
Are we on track?
We are. So it says and set off uphill diagonally, crossing the field to the top left-hand corner. So we're going that way.
Oh, brilliant.
There's some cows in there, so we'll make sure the dog's on the lead.
Oh, is that a fail? Hello there. They're little boy cows, aren't they?
They're flapping their ears.
I know. And their tails must be the flies. It's that wonderful Georgian house over there, set in its own grounds. I believe was Jeremiah Trist's house.
Jeremiah who?
Trist.
Alright, what did he do?
He was the vicar in the village and he built that house in 1810, so it's a Georgian house. He is the man that paid for the building of the roundhouses in Veryan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Must be money in the church back then. A bit of string will be there for 50 years.
From this field we're in now, you can just make out the roofs of the 2 roundhouses you enter Veryan Green at the top of the village. Got crosses on. Behind them is the Tranoclatives, the artificial hills, man-made hills.
We go down here,
Yes.
but the sign's fallen off.
Oh dear.
Right, so you have to imagine a sign that says Portloe.
Portloe.
It's down here, isn't it?
Yeah.
If that helps. Follow that postman, Sarah.
Release the hound.
Release the hound, yeah.
Off you go then. Good boy.
I have caught it. Can you get down there? No, wrong way, gone wrong way. That's it, now onto that one. Good boy, down here. Down here. No? Okay, alright, hang on.
But it is incredibly steep. Oh, we're heading down there, straight across the field. We're nearly at Portloe. I love Portloe, pretty little harbour. Oh, didn't like that one. I did it.
It's quite tall, isn't it?
Yeah, don't like that. We've done this walk before.
We have, haven't we?
Yeah.
First ever walk we put on YouTube.
First filmed walk we did, and we didn't have a clue what we were doing, did we?
We've been itching to redo it for ages, haven't we?
Yeah, and what I'll do, I'll put the link to the old video at the end so you can compare now and then. I hope we've got better.
It's called the £10 crab sandwich, if I remember rightly.
Oh yes, the story behind that.
I'll tell you that when we get into Portloe.
pass in front of a cottage and through a communal garden area. This is sunny corner, even in the rain. So this communal area is absolutely beautifully kept, isn't it? The azaleas looking stunning, and the forget-me-nots have just been allowed to run wild.
I don't know if it's a communal area anymore though, it might be private.
I think it's communal for the properties rather than communal for the village. A lot of our information today has been taken from this book by Bob Acton, Around Mevagissey. This book tells us up to the right are the remains of a watermill. We're on a bit of a wild goose chase here.
They look like it could be a mill, but obviously there's no water
Directly beside
here,
them.
is there? Obviously you've got the road.
But they could have been like storage for the mill. Perhaps that was the mill behind you.
That would make a lot more sense, wouldn't it?
Because it's
it would be on
right
the
beside.
side, wouldn't it?
And they would have taken a leap from behind that house,
Yeah.
wouldn't they? If you know more about this and you can cast any light, pop it in the comments. I'm really intrigued. Yeah, this is a very tidy looking stream with walls each side, isn't it? I think that's probably the elite.
Our dog's desperate to get down there as well. It's a little drink.
Where are we going then, Andrew?
Well, we're going down the hill. Not much luck with signs today, but this is the way to Portloe.
Pub's open today.
It's nice to see it open, isn't it?
It wasn't the first walk we did.
It wasn't, was it?
We've just found out our pub is shut. We actually abandoned the idea of eating in Portloe, retraced our steps, took us an hour. We had a Magnum for lunch from a village shop in Tregony. Caused quite a rupture. We were expecting to eat in there, so we didn't have anything with us at all, did we?
I get teasy when I'm hungry as well.
Oh yeah, so we went down to the lugger, £10 for a crab sandwich. He wasn't happy. We walked all the way back to the car, didn't we?
It's a bit crabby.
Very crabby.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you enjoy your lunch?
Yeah, it's alright, thank you. It's very nice. Where do we go, Sarah? What do we do?
Tregony for a Magnum for lunch. Our daughter was with us. She thought it was hilarious.
I enjoyed my Maltesers ice cream for lunch.
It was the best lunch ever, wasn't it?
I think I might have had a chocolate bar as well.
In Bob's book, there's a lovely big panel here about Portloe. Something that caught my eye is a story that he found in the West Briton about a little girl in 1841, and we need to try and find a lime kiln that's meant to be up near the church.
Oh, the church is up there, isn't it?
Yes, I believe that's the old lifeboat station behind you, isn't it?
It's like, isn't it?
Yeah. So the story goes like this. It says, on Sunday, the 4th instance, a little girl of about 5 years old, daughter of Mr. Payne, the Coast Guard at Portloe, was unfortunately burnt to death by attempting to take a roasted potato from the lime kiln. So we're going to go and try and find one of those. Meant to be 4 in the village. A couple up near the ship inn and a couple by the church. Are you up for that?
Yeah, so the church is here, isn't it? Directly
Yes.
behind us. I reckon it's this way then.
Okay. That wasn't difficult, was it? I reckon they're there.
It's here, isn't it?
I've walked past those a couple of times when we've been here before. Never really put 2 and 2 together. Oh, well, of course. Obvious when you're given the right pointer. I do like what they've done though, it's very pretty.
I'll tell you what I really like.
Yeah.
It's the arch of stone
Yeah.
above. So many colours in it if you look at it.
There is, isn't there? So Bob goes on to say of Portloe that it shares a lot of the characteristics and smuggling history with other South Cornish coast villages. And he reckons that smuggling here dates back to the 17th century when a famous smuggler and pirate, Robin Long, lived at Veryan, and he actually ended up being hung for his deeds at Bessie Beneath. I love that name, Bessie Beneath. Anyway, it goes on to say that up until 1843 there was still smuggling going on in Portloe when the Coast Guards discovered barrels anchored down under the sea. Do you think much has changed here?
No, I don't. I think it's very, very similar to where it would have been maybe 150 years ago. I think some of these buildings have been here a long time. I think the sides of the valley are quite steep, so it probably stops too much building going on here. What's lovely is it's still used as a little fishing cove.
I know.
Yeah.
It's beautiful down there, isn't it? Should go down and have a look.
Perhaps they're still smuggling.
You can't say that!
Oh, okay.
an interesting piece, isn't
Big
it?
piece, isn't it?
Yeah. Blue, brick, white, bit of pottery.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be able to make a stack with that. Shall I give it a go?
Yeah,
Alright.
as well.
Got half an hour?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh, would you believe it? It worked.
Did it work? You got it? Oh, okay. Well done.
Yeah, just got to paint it now.
Nice.
So, putting those dates together,
Yeah.
that house by Jeremiah Trist
Yeah.
was built in 1810.
Right.
The smuggling was discovered in 1843.
Right, well, there's still a record of it at that point.
So, do you think there was a connection between the vicar, the crypt and the church? It's classic smuggling.
Sounds like a novel.
It does.
It needs to be written. What are you going to call it?
I don't know.
Roundhouses and smuggling.
Yeah.
The vicar who knew too much.
Crypts and contraband.
Puts a whole new meaning of getting in the rounds, doesn't it?
What? In the church?
Roundhouses.
Oh, of course, I see what you're getting, silly me.
And getting in a round.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
come on,
Oh,
there we
you're too good. I like it.
You like that?
Imagine trying to navigate your way in through here. Those rocks look evil. If you were smuggling late at night and the sea was a bit rough, could be fun.
I love it when we come to places like this because I always like to play the game of which house would I buy if I could. And I think the one right on the end, the yellow and white little cottage, that would do for me. Isn't that gorgeous? Lovely view they'd have as well.
Fabulous view out to Dobman. We've now picked up the southwest coast path and we're going to head, this area is actually called the Jacker. We're going to head towards Broom Parc. My favourite stretch is the coastline in Cornwall. Quite challenging, up and down, but it does give you some fantastic viewpoints because you get up quite high. Really looking forward to this one. Good boy.
It's a tiny little island offshore, Sarah.
Yes.
It's called Gull Rock.
Oh, right.
Now when we get back to Veryan, I want to take you into the churchyard. I'm going to try and show you a very special grave.
Oh.
And it is linked to a shipwreck that went down
Oh.
near the rock out there.
Oh, that sounds sad.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, come here. I know. I know. And there's Broom Parc. That's our destination before we head back inland. The thing I find quite strange and extraordinary, notable about this house, where are the other houses? There's literally no houses as far as you can see.
Perhaps they didn't like neighbours. So the property up here then, Sarah, this was the one that they used in the filming of the Camomile Lawn? Is that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was a TV programme that was on early 90s. I think it had quite a good cast if I remember right. I think Felicity Kendall's in it, Paul Eddington. I think Jennifer Ely's in it as well because she was in Pride and Prejudice, wasn't she?
Indeed she was, yes. Elizabeth Bennet in that.
I remember her.
From what I remember of the Camomile Lawn, it was a bit racy.
I think you're right, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We'll have to revisit that, sounds good.
In fact, I'd be quite interested to go back and watch that series myself. It's a lovely old house. It looks very strong, very sturdy. And it just kind of sits there very elegantly on the cliff. And what a film set, eh? Wow.
Do you know where we're going now, Ben?
Yeah, well, the southwest coast path continues down to Kilberwick Cove, and the book is brilliant. It gives you the option of going down there and picking up on another walk to get you back to Veryan, but we're going to stick with this walk, which means we're heading up here around the back of Broom Parc and we'll pick up the road.
So this property then was used for Camomile Lawn?
Yes.
And we're going to be walking up that road, and that takes us to the little hamlet of Camel.
Yes.
And that's about a mile from here.
Yes.
Camomile Lawn.
I
Do you like
wonder.
that?
You might be onto something there. You're genius.
I need to sit down and have a cup of tea and work it out.
I think you need to lie down in a dark room. You've just had a Einstein moment, I
Wow.
think.
It's impressive.
Gosh. What are you doing?
Just standing here, reflecting on my last comment.
Are you feeling alright?
No.
Come on. To continue this walk, turn left along the main road to Camels, through the hamlet and over the crossroads for Veryan.
We're going to Camels.
Yes!
I knew a bloke who lived there once.
Did he have the hump?
He did.
Ah! Got there! I got there first! Yes!
Look what I found.
There's bottles
Yeah, in the wall.
in the wall.
The honeymoon drink.
I used to
The
work
Old
there.
Liquor Mead, Cornish Mead Company Limited, Newlyn, Penzance, Cornwall. Less than 28% proof spirit.
Oh wow! Breweries.
Which one's that?
Look, that's Hicks. Snorstall.
Okay.
Snorstall Brewery. Wasn't that the guy that set up Snorstall Brewery? Quite an eclectic mix in this wall. With a whale, a duck that is way larger than the teddy bear, the frog. They, I think, are light pools, aren't they? They've got holes in their heads. They had some fun doing that, didn't they? Yeah. Look at that old barn. Look at it. Love it. Look at that roof line.
Boo! This little hamlet, Sarah, we're walking through is called Camels. Did you notice though it had a slightly different spelling on the property here, Camels Farm?
No.
C-A-M-I-L-L-S.
Oh, really?
Camils.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so over time it's
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
camels.
Anyway, that's not funny. What is funny is that this place, Camels, is deserted.
Ba-boom.
Oh, hang on. What's that over there? I see water. Oh no, it's a mirage. No?
Let's go and find the oasis of Veryan.
Nicely done. Oh, yeah, fun.
Shall I tell them a story about my friend at school?
Go on then, you got a friend?
One of my friends at school
Yeah.
was called Veryan,
Okay.
and she was convinced that her parents had just laid out a map of Cornwall just before she was born, taken a pin and plonked it in the map,
Right.
and it had landed in Veryan.
Yeah.
And she used to turn and say, just about one gumpus, isn't it?
Brilliant.
The gatepost is coming with you. Now when I get back into Veryan, I want to find three things. I want to find the roundhouses.
Yep.
I want to find that grave you spoke about in the churchyard.
Yes.
And I wonder if Jeremiah Trist is actually buried in the churchyard. Didn't we find his grave before?
I think we did. I think it's a family grave. So yeah, have a look for that.
So those three things, I think that would be great. I would love to tick them off. It's really fascinating when you get one family in a village that has so much influence, isn't it?
And it's still here now, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, stood in one spot and I can see 5 things associated with the family. Behind the school building and up in those trees, Jeremiah Trist's house. Over here, the church where he was vicar. The family renovated the village well, which is just in front of us. They also helped the village school, and they built the roundhouse.
So the roundhouse, which is closest to the church, just down here. This one is slightly unusual because it's not got a thatched roof. The others have. The other roundhouses as well have got a cross on the roof, and this one hasn't.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's been renovated.
Possibly.
Let's go and have a look.
So they call it Beehive Cottage. Someone stuck a dirty great chimney on the pinnacle of the cone. Okay, so we can't see much of that one. I want to see a better one.
Alright, I'll show you a better one then. Come on then.
We found them! A pair of roundhouses.
Really unique, aren't they?
So this would have been the beginning of the village. And if you notice, on top of them, there's a cross on each one. Oh, going the wrong way. There we
Both
go.
thatched as well, aren't they?
Aren't they so cute?
It's really narrow, the gap between the two of them as well.
Yeah, it is.
I think these were built between 1810 and 1820. And the builder that built these, because there's 5 of them in total, I think each one cost less than £50 to actually build. I think 2 were built for like just under £70.
So if you notice the cross on top, that was meant to guard these little properties against the devil. And the reason they're round, it's kind of a myth that because there was no corners, the devil couldn't hide in the corners of the property. I just thought actually building in a circle was more challenging than building in a square.
It's got to be, innit?
Yeah.
The true reason, as far as I know, it was just the style at that time.
Yeah, labourer's cottage was standard as a round cottage, wasn't it?
I wonder if it's easier to thatch with it being round as well.
Oh, possibly. Very deep thatch as well, isn't it? Quite an overhang. I don't know if anything's easier round, is it? Except a cake, maybe.
Oh, I could eat a cake.
Oh, yeah, I could too. Let's go find the church.
Well, they got cake.
Doubt it. So let's just go and find Jeremiah Trist's grave. There it is. To your right. It's quite a thing, really, isn't it? More of a mausoleum. Something carved into the Latin, you reckon? Wow. Well, we are really struggling to read this, aren't we?
Very hard to read. You can just about make it out. It says Jeremiah Trist.
Yes,
Vicar. And it's got 1829 to 74, and I think that was the span whilst he was vicar.
Yes. Not his lifespan.
Perhaps we can look up
a bit more about him.
Yeah.
We were misinterpreting that, so I've just gone online to the Mausolea and Monuments website, and it gives you the inscription. Someone's put it on here, so we're reading it slightly wrong. So the dedication to Jeremiah Trist, vicar, he was 1829, age 74. So it wasn't a period of time, it was the date of his death and how old he was.
Oh, I see. So he died in 1829. Okay.
So he would have been in his 60s when he was building the roundhouses, when he built
Which
that
makes
house.
more sense.
Yes.
And what does it actually say right at the top of the
It says
mausoleum?
resurgimus. Anybody good at Latin? What does resurgimus mean? Does it mean resurrection, that you're going to go to heaven? I don't know.
And at the top of this tablet there?
The top of the tablet reads, sown in corruption, raised in incorruption. So
It's curious, isn't it?
Perhaps the corruption bit, what was he doing naughty? What was the family doing that was naughty that they stopped doing to be in incorruption? Oh, I want to know more.
Does sound like a novel, Sarah.
It does, doesn't it? Perhaps it's very simple. Perhaps it's just that he was a vicar, so he was incorruptible, so he was in incorruption. Hats off to the person that actually knows what that says, that interpreted it. I wonder if they did a rubbing. So So we're ticking off our boxes here, Andrew. We found roundhouses.
Yeah, so when we were on our walk earlier, I pointed out that Gull Rock or Gull Island offshore, wasn't it? And there was a shipwreck.
Yeah.
And there is a grave here which relates to that shipwreck. But it's slightly unusual.
Let's go and find it and we'll tell you more. Have you found it?
It's up here.
Oh, okay. So we're just behind the almshouses, aren't we?
Yeah.
Aren't they so cute? Built for the widows of fishermen. Oh my goodness me! Wow!
This is the grave.
Wow, let me come around there. How are we going to film this?
I don't know.
Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the inscription says, in memory of the crew of the German vessel Hera or Hera of Hamburg, stranded on Gull Rock, 1st of February 1914.
So the German boat, Sarah, went down in February of 1914, and that was obviously before the start of the First World War, and it was a cargo ship as far as I know, and they were trying to get to Falmouth, and the fog clamped in, and they basically, I think they had a problem with some of the equipment on board. The clock on board was an hour out, so they kind of got lost, a thick fog, and they ended up basically, the ship went down, and some of the men were clinging to the masts, and by the time the lifeboats got to them, a few hours had gone by, and some really just perished at sea. But the local community here was so upset, and they'd watched this rescue play out, and they wanted to honour the memory of these German sailors, and this is the grave that they put in for them. And it's really unique, and it's quite poignant here actually.
I agree. So there's 19 names on the gravestone.
19 on here. As far as I understand, there's 15 bodies here. So whether there were some people that were never
Recovered.
found, never recovered, I don't
Oh,
know.
how awful.
The length of this grave, Sarah, it's nearly 100 foot. It's supposed to be 98 foot.
And the longest grave in the UK.
Yeah, I think it's reputed to be the longest grave in the UK. Sarah, I left my tape measure at home, but I have a plan. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 26 paces along. I reckon my stride is probably about 3 foot. So if that's 26 by, hang on,
75, 78 feet.
yeah, it's not though, it's 98, I've looked it up.
Your stride's longer than you think, mate. We're in danger of this channel becoming more about graveyards and gravestones than walking. But it's interesting, isn't it? Our walk today started in Veryan church, went across fields, we found Portloe on the coast.
We did, and we returned via Broom Parc along the southwest coast path back to Veryan, and we found the roundhouses.
Don't forget camels.
Oh yeah, how can you forget camels?
Don't get the hump.
It will. It's poor camels.
So the walk, the instructions were brilliant, they worked really well.
Yeah, it's a really nice little map on that. It's a hand-drawn
Yeah.
one, and for a hand-drawn map, there's a lot of information on it. It's good.
It's a really good standard, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the instructions still work. It's quite an old book, but it's put together by the Ramblers.
Yes, there's no history in it, so it can't score that extra point for history. So the most it can score is 9.
It's a 9. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
It's a 9 out of 9 for me.
And remember, if you've enjoyed today's video, then give us a paws up. Perhaps send us a comment. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. It's free on YouTube. Cheers! I'm off for my dinner now.
What do you think? Is it like it?